I'm your host, Michael Garaffa. I'm joined today by Marco Peralta. Unfortunately, no Nick or Ryan today. It's just the two of us, but it's okay. As the song says, we can make it if we try.
Just the two of us. That's another song. Just the
I know
two
that was
of us.
the next line is "We can make it if we try." That was
Oh, really?
that was
I've
the
only
song.
heard
Yeah.
that one line of just the two of us. That's it. Oh my gosh, I feel so dumb now.
It's okay. We're going back to our roots today. The first ever guest had on the show. Whoa! Nick's here.
Whoa! The Wi-Fi gods are working today.
Yeah.
What's up?
Nick was worried that his internet wouldn't work. He's here. It's working. We got a winner. We officially have a winner. He might end up starting to cut out randomly, but that's okay. We're just happy he's here. No Ryan today, though, for sure. He is flying to Arizona. So that's a guarantee. We know he's not here, but that's great. I'm glad that we have 3 out of the 4. I know we were thinking maybe it would just be me and Marco, but hey, I've got the first 2 guests I ever had on the show right here today. So it's only fair.
Wait, who was first? Was it Nick or me?
No, you were first, Marco.
Oh, okay.
You were number 1, and then Nick was number 2, and then Ryan was like number 5. Ryan was last. I want to just say, Ryan was last.
So how many people did you have on the show before we actually became a team? So it was me, Nick, Ryan,
and there was one other person.
Just one other person?
Yeah. So I said 5th, but I just was exaggerating.
I was about to say, like, how is Ryan 5th?
I was exaggerating. Well, actually, Marco, I think I had you on twice before I had Ryan on, but I don't remember. I don't remember. I just saw that Ryan was the last to comment on my post, so he was last. I just went in order of who commented first, and it went Marco, Nick. Nick was commenting on everybody. I remember back then. I was looking around and I saw this, and I looked at your profile picture. I was like, "Ooh, this kid's gonna be." I was like, he was wearing this like high sweater up to his like chin, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Hey, I'll have him on the show," and then I had him out, and I was like, "Oh wow, you look nothing like your picture." It's like, hey. It's like whatever. True story.
Wait. Question. So what questionnaire did you give to Nick? Was it the same one I got?
The same one. Yeah, same one I gave to everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait. So
I think it'd be cool. Like, what if we go through the answers we gave you, bro? Because he gave us some pretty intense answers, bro. It was
that was a long time from now. That was a long time from now. I'm gonna scroll way back.
Well,
I found it.
Okay. Okay, for everyone watching or listening, just to let you know, this is what Michael sent us to quiz us or to test us on how good we knew about baseball.
Yeah. And now, so, and this is before we get into the show itself. It's good because we have a little time today because Ryan was supposed to be the one doing a segment today, and without him here, we're going to have a little extra time. So Nick came up first in here. I think that's because I probably texted you after Marco. We probably kept up, or maybe I don't even know. But I scrolled away from it. So what I did for Nick was I asked him. I feel bad because I didn't ask. I think Marco, I sent it to you in like a list. But Nick, I asked him a question. He answered, and then I asked him another one. So the first one was, how much do you know about baseball on a scale of 1 to 10? Nick gave me an 8.5. I'd say that's pretty accurate. And then favorite team, unfortunately, the Tigers was the answer. Favorite player, Miguel Cabrera. Favorite player not on the Tigers was Verlander or Bellinger. Interesting answers, which I actually answered. I wrote, interesting. He asked me who my favorites are. This is really poetic justice today. How about this? I said, I'm a Mets fan. My favorite player is Pete Alonso. Non-Mets player, I actually said Rhys Hoskins, and it's only fitting that today I'm wearing my Rhys Hoskins shirt. We couldn't have planned this any better. This is incredible.
Is that the one you bought?
No, actually, my girlfriend got this one for me for Christmas.
Oh no! No, she's feeding to your addiction, bro. Oh my gosh!
At least you're not making that much.
Don't get your hands on her debit card, please, Michael.
All right, I didn't ask any more questions. Marco, yours is not coming up.
I have it in front of me. I legit.
Okay, then you do it because I'm not. I don't know.
Okay, so mine was pretty funny because like you're the one that reached out to me first. That said, "Hey man," I was like, "Hey my guy," like a real chill dude. What's up, my guy? How you doing?
And Nick reached out to me first, but I reached out because you commented on the thing.
Yeah. So I said, so I have a few questions for everyone who shows interest. So I have a gauge. There you go. So you sent me the list on the scale of 1 to 10. How much you know about baseball? Favorite team, et cetera, et cetera. Favorite player on that team. Favorite player not on your favorite team. Age. How long have you been watching baseball? That's what I got sent.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't want to, throw in the age for Nick. I didn't, want to be exposing, but that's fine.
So me just trying to be, I don't know, like I wouldn't say like a jerk, if maybe it sounds like that. I legit just sent you this. I said I might have something that answers most of that. And I showed him a picture when I went to Dodger Stadium to Shadow Joe.
I remember that. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm having like a real legit announcer on my show. How about that?
Yeah, so he said, oh, so Dodgers. But the funny thing is that Michael said, that's sick. But after that, I said, but I still need answers.
Sounds like me.
Yeah,
that sounds like me. Oh man,
I just said like 10 knowledge of baseball. I don't know if I live up to that.
I still need answers.
So I said 10 for knowledge of baseball, and I said Dodgers, Corey Seager, and I said I don't really have a favorite player outside of my team because there's so much talent. Age 20 at that time when I was young, and when I started watching baseball, I started little, but really got into it when I was in my early high school years. So, yeah, those were my answers.
This is awesome.
How about this? This is we've got to go for Ryan's now.
Wait, Nick,
so,
did you get tested when you tried to join Beat the Buzzer?
No, Beat the Buzzer we just made collectively.
Oh wait, so it wasn't a show that already existed. You guys made it.
Yeah, no, we just made it.
Hey, dude. Hey, you all right, bro? Yesterday, your throat, your voice, a little bit deeper today.
Oh, really? That's good.
Yeah.
I think he's just trying to be a little quieter because he's inside his apartment.
That's
I think that's.
Are you still living at the same place, or where you living now?
Yeah, same place.
Gotcha. All right.
So the Ryan's he gave me a 10 on the scale of 1 to 10 of how much he knows baseball.
I'm the only one who not in 10.
But hey, I'd rather you be honest. It's fine. I mean, it's pretty accurate.
Okay, wait, Michael. So quick question before you say the rest. I sent you a 10. Ryan sent you a 10. Nick sent you an 8.5. So do we all live by those ratings, or what's going on?
Don't put me on the spot like that.
You gotta do it, bro. Like, is Ryan really a 10? Am I really a 10? Is Nick really an 8.5? Is it less or more than 8.5? Is he a 10?
This is terrible. I feel so bad for Michael.
Damn! Wow, you really put me on the spot here. Whew. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say any of you are 10. I don't think any of us are. I think I was putting myself even higher at that. I wouldn't say any of you guys are a 10.
Wait, so you put yourself on top of us?
No, I said I put at the time I had myself at a 10, but like now I see that I'm like lower than you guys. Like you know more than I do. And I asked you these questions because I felt like I knew so much. But honestly, I would put myself at like a 7.5, and then you guys would be like going above me. But I'm not gonna I'm not going to go any more than that, but I am going to say that I felt like I knew so much at the time, and then I met you guys and realized that I don't know tons. So,
dude, I almost made you a crazier question. You would have been so mad at me.
Ask it.
Oh God, here we go.
Out of us three, who knows the most about baseball?
We're not doing that. Nick's like, nope, I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm not answering that question.
Let's go to Beat the Buzzer.
That's great. This has been a great start to a show. I'm loving it. So Ryan gave Royals as always. And again, you have to remember that I didn't know who he was. So he gave me Royals, and I'm like, oh, Royals fan. Great. I'm like, I'm going to have a Royals fan on my show. Oh, yeah. And then he said Alex Gordon. But his non-Royals player, he put Paul Goldschmidt, which never would have thought of that right now. You, neither of you I really would have been able to guess either because you don't really talk much about teams other than that, about like favorite players, but I'm intrigued by that. But yeah, So how about that? The exposing party. That was fun. So the first 10 minutes of the show have come and gone. Let's get into more fun. I think today's going to be a really fun show because this is a really cool topic. Today for season 3, episode 8, we're doing a custom roster again for the second straight weekend. Today is a roster of players who left our team, but were still really loved by the fan base. These are players that once they left, they were still appreciated once they came back to play as an opponent. They never actually came back to play again, and if they did, they didn't end their career there. So I didn't really give you guys that little footnote, but the main point is that they left and they didn't. It's a player that played for the team at one point and didn't finish their career on that team. So an example I gave for this is Wilmer Flores in the Mets. Obviously, he's just not playing there now, but this is just so you guys understand, because there's really none that I could think of off the top of my head for any other team that I think would fit well. And I also, we are supposed to be, it's not a guarantee yet because things are up in the air with what I was supposed to be doing. This Wednesday is supposed to be our first middle of the week show on Wednesday we're aiming for 4:00 Arizona time. But I had something that came up. I think it's been canceled. I'm waiting for confirmation on that. So we may be doing a show Wednesday. We may not. We're supposed to be. If we are going to, that is going to be a 64-player tournament of the top 64 hitters of all time. We're going to be doing a really cool tournament. We're going to be just breezing through, picking a bunch of players as who we think are the best of all time. And we're going to eventually come down to the best hitter ever. And that'll be the tournament. If it doesn't happen on Wednesday, that'll be the show next Sunday. So the way things are going to go with Wednesday shows, if we end up canceling the Wednesday show, that's just going to become the Sunday show. And we're just going to keep pushing them back, a show, so that we're not skipping over things that we were planning on doing. So this Wednesday, if we do have a show, it'll be the top 6. It'll be a 64-player bracket of hitters. And if it's not on Wednesday, it'll be next Sunday. Just stay tuned. We'll be here Wednesday at 4:00 or we won't. That's really all I could say. So hopefully we're here. I'm expecting to be here. The way things look, it's like 99% we will be. So we'll just have news. Yeah, breaking news. We'll see. Hopefully. We had one big breaking news this week. It pertained. That's not a word. It pertained to my team. Francisco Lindor is a Met. I'm still above the moon about it. I can't tell you how many times I've walked downstairs and said, "Hey, Frankie Lindor's a Met." Like it's unbelievable to think. I know, Marco. I know I'm talking a lot about the Mets, but that's okay. So let's talk more about our teams, shall we? So today, like I said, people who left our team but were still loved afterwards. We've got the same setup as last week, but we have a few less players instead of doing 2 per position, where last week I set that up because I expected a lot of us to have repeats. Today, there will obviously be no repeats because we're all doing our own individual teams. So we start off with starting pitcher. We could just we'll do one starting pitcher at a time. Yes, Marco.
What if we have multiple players for that position? Because I have 2-3 positions. So I have 2 players on it. I couldn't make up my mind.
I had a similar situation, but I ended up just putting one of those players in DH for fun, just to fill up an extra position. If you didn't do that, you can do that. Yeah. So then this way you have a DH. Because Nick's gonna have a DH, so we don't have that. But we'll just go one starting pitcher at a time. My first starting pitcher that I put here is Tom Seaver. Tom Seaver, Tom Terrific. He's known as the franchise. Honestly, out of all the players on this list, he's probably the most emotional out of all of them, because when he left, I remember, I see videos of him crying when he was being told that he was traded, didn't want to leave New York, ended up leaving. He came back, but then never was the same and didn't finish his career with the Mets. Tom Seaver, what a legendary player. So sad to see him not finish his career with the Mets, but obviously will always go down in history as one of the best, if not the best Mets player of all time. So we'll just go in the order of Marco and Nick, because that's how you guys got here. It's not like we're having any repeats, so you're just talking about your own players, and you won't have to worry about making up new things to say because someone else said it already. So Marco, let's hear your first starting pitcher.
So my first starting pitcher that was in the Dodgers, that's my team for those that don't know, just letting you know who's out there. My starting pitcher that I missed when he left was actually a former Diamondback, now Houston Astros pitcher, Zach Greinke, because that guy was definitely electric when he left. Well, when he was at the Dodgers, and also when he went to the Diamondbacks. Unfortunately, the team broke down and they weren't giving him any support. I think I scared Nick away, but that's okay. And then he went to the Houston Astros, but I think the biggest thing about him being with the Dodgers that he didn't want to be the second pitcher there when Clayton Kershaw was there. He wanted to be the ace of a team. That's what he got with the Diamondbacks. He doesn't have it there with the Astros now, but I guess he basically is okay with that role of being like a secondary or third pitcher in an organization. So I got to go with Zack Greinke as my first starting pitcher that played for the Dodgers but left and was loved afterwards.
I think the interesting thing with Zack Greinke too is Greinke actually played better in that kind of 2 role. When he went to the D-backs as the ace, he didn't perform as well. So I think maybe that stands out. Nick has relocated himself. He's in a new thing. And I know, Nick, this is going to be a tough show for you because as we've heard in the past, you're really emotional about players that have left your team. So I'm sure we all know who number 1 is here for starting pitchers.
I know who number 1 and number 2 are. I know that for sure.
Yeah, and maybe even number 3. But we'll hear what Nick says.
Like this show, like most of these players are from the same team because like those are like my prime years of like just watching such a good team perform. But first, gotta go with the best Detroit Tigers pitcher of all time, Justin Verlander. He will forever be a Detroit Tiger legend. Won MVP with us, 2 Cy Youngs. We all know what he did in the postseason. We all know what he did in the regular season. He was the best pitcher of all. He was the best pitcher for a few years in the MLB, and he'll always be that way. He still is right now. I still think he still has a little bit left with the Astros. It's unfortunate he plays for such a team like that, but he will always be a Tigers legend. I'll never forget how he got better as the game got along in the postseason, especially. I remember, especially against the Athletics in the Athletic series, he would start off the game throwing like 92, 93, and then he would end the game throwing like 97, 98, and it was just so fun to watch. He was probably one of my favorite players ever to watch. His windup, I wish I had like replicated his windup. It was so interesting to me. So yeah, first of all, for me, it has to be Justin Verlander.
Yeah, Verlander, one of the best players of all time. He was loved. I mean, if he didn't have so many injuries in his career, he would probably go down as a top 5 pitcher ever. And that's some great company because honestly, him and Clayton Kershaw have been battling it out their entire career for who's great, who's better. And honestly, Verlander has just been as good as he's gotten older, where Kershaw's kind of tailed off a little bit. So it's amazing to see him performing still at that level. So we then move on to the second starting pitcher here. And for me and the Mets, I mean, the Mets have had so many great starting pitchers that have left, but this one hit personally home to me because I witnessed it. This is R.A. Dickey. R.A. Dickey, when he left the Mets after his Cy Young year, so unfortunate, wins the Cy Young and then is traded away. That was one of the most heartbreaking things as a Mets fan, a young 11-year-old Mets fan. It was so sad. Look, we got Noah Syndergaard out of it. I'm very happy with that. Syndergaard has, in the end, given us more continued success than Dickey did. But, I mean, I was at Dickey's game when he won his 20th in the year in 2012. Such an amazing player to watch. So just easy. Every game he pitched was just so smooth. I'm never going to forget watching R.A. Dickey pitch. It's a shame that he never got to really make it big at the major league level because he came up when he was like 33, but just a legendary player that Mets fans will never forget.
The second pitcher I have was basically the first pitcher I ever knew from the Dodgers organization that I started when I started following the Dodgers because I still didn't understand how good Clayton Kershaw was or how young of a great pitcher he was going to be. And that's Chad Billingsley. I don't know if you remember him, number 58, usually for the Dodgers. You know, he played from 06 to 13. Then he retired over with the Phillies in 2015. So that guy, I wouldn't say he was a big time like pitcher, but he certainly was the ace for some time for the Dodgers while Clayton Kershaw was developing himself as another type of pitcher in like the bottom half of the rotation. So I wouldn't say he had a bad career. 83.64 is overall career record, 3.72 ERA. So he had a decent career. The back end of his career wasn't really successful for him. No one's giving him another shot. His role with the Dodgers was over because the rotation was getting a little bit better with him being a little bit older. So Chad Billingsley is the other pitcher that I that I saw from the Dodgers organization that people kind of loved after he was gone.
Oh, this is so painful. Okay. Second guy on this list definitely got better after he left the Detroit Tigers. But we'll say he started with us. Well, he's actually started with the Diamondbacks, but then that trade happened. Max Scherzer is next. And wow, just the fact that him and Verlander wore a uniform at the same time, they were on the same team, it's so much pain. Because
I could just feel it in his words, bro. Oh my gosh.
You guys, that picture, I've seen so many times on Instagram now. Like the one Michael sent in the group chat, I was just like, but no, Scherzer definitely gotten better after he left the Tigers. But he was still very, very good with the Tigers. He started his dominance there. He had his first complete game with us. He had his first couple 13 strikeout games with us. But now he's blowing people away left and right like it's nothing. And it's honestly really cool to see. It helps that he's not in he's in the National League and I don't get to play against him. But it's just really sad to see him dominate so much. But good for him. He'll always be a forever Tiger hero, I guess. Maybe.
I have to deal with getting dominated by him frequently. So thanks for letting him go. I've been too traumatized by Max Scherzer pitching. So the next and last pitcher we have here, because we're only doing 3 starting pitchers, it's the only position where we have more than one, but I mean, you can't have just one for this position. So the last one I have here is another really beloved player who actually went to play for the Yankees. This is one of the top Mets pitchers of all time, Dwight Gooden, also known as Doc Gooden. I mean, every Mets fan loves Doc Gooden. He's always been revered in the game as one of the best pitchers in the Mets organization. I mean, he's pitched in the Mets World Series win, always going to be an icon. It's unfortunate what happened after his career, but I mean, the way he pitched, it was so unfortunate once he left the organization and had to go play for the Yankees. It's always hard to watch a Met go play for the Yankees, especially when it's a guy the caliber of Doc Gooden. So, just happens.
Well, my last pitcher, I kind of went on a personal note because I wish I would have seen how he played with the Dodgers. I can't speak today. The Dodgers organization, excuse me. I had a long night last night. I drove pretty distance, so I'm sorry. The Dodgers organization. Yeah, you see, I can't speak today. The Dodgers organization. There you go. So, because he got traded back in 2017 for a second baseman that really didn't do much for the Dodgers in Logan Forsythe. He got traded to Tampa Bay for Jose De Leon. So I'll just say it in Spanish. Jose De Leon. There you go. He got traded to the Tampa Bay Rays for Logan Forsythe because we had to fill in that gap of second base when we didn't know how good Kike Hernandez was. We were only stuck on Chris Taylor playing outfield. So I always wondered what his career would have been like if he would stay with the Dodgers. That's because now Tampa Bay doesn't really use him. His ERA as in MLB career 8.39. That's not good. So I wonder what would happen if he would stay with an organization that is really well known for having great pitching coaches and great pitchers in the organization. So Jose De Leon is my last starting pitcher.
Okay, my third guy. So part of the same team. The drill here. Actually won an ERA title with us, Mr. Anibal Sanchez. To me, he's kind of like our perfect third guy because JV and Max are always our 1 and 2, but for Anibal to be 3 for so many years just shows how good, how underrated and unappreciated he was. I feel like he wasn't a huge strikeout guy, but he was always just a guy that kind of got the job done for us and was just so solid for us. He only played 3 years for the Tigers, but in those 3 years, I was never mad at him. I was always just thank God he's pitching. He's just Mr. Reliable at this point. But damn, our rotation was just so nice at some points. But yeah, we'll keep it there. I'll go Anibal at 3.
Andres Galarraga and Rick Porcello and Doug Fister rounded out that rotation. Just wanted to complete that.
Fister,
Fister?
yeah.
Wasn't Galarraga? Or
on-
was he gone already? He was gone already.
No, he was the start of the pain with the no hitter.
But still, an elite 5 that you guys had at that point. But we'll move on from starting pitchers from you, so we don't have to worry about it. We know honestly the biggest thing for you, Nick, is your starting pitchers. I mean, other than that, I mean the hitters have been good, but it's not like you're depressed about them. So
this is very true.
At least that we know of. So we move on to relief pitchers. I mean, like last week, it's hard to find relievers that didn't really close. So I ended up just going with a closer that I wanted to have on here. So I threw him in the reliever category. And I went with Jesse Orosco. Orosco, one of the top pitchers of all time. I mean, just such in the Mets organization, obviously, but, always has been really reliable. Was the pitcher who got the last out in the 86 World Series. I mean, Jesse Orosco was loved once he was traded away. It was unfortunate that he had to go, but he pitched a good chunk of his career with the Mets, and just too bad he didn't get to pitch any longer because he really made such a big impact when he was there.
So my relief pitcher for the Dodgers that was there is the big man himself. I don't know if you guys remember this guy. Jonathan Broxton.
Oh, man.
Jonathan Broxton, the big guy. He started with the Dodgers in 2005, and he left in 2011. He went with the Royals, then he went with the Reds, the Brewers, and he finalized his career with the Cardinals in 2017. So that guy was definitely a big guy that had a big arm. He went from a reliever to closer, then from closer to reliever. It was just different roles in different teams, but with the Dodgers, he was more of a reliever than a closer. So, yeah, the guy, I liked him. I really didn't see him play that much because it was 2011 when he left the Dodgers. I was 13 years old by that time. So that was when I started getting more and more into baseball. So I didn't really see him, because I graduated junior high, June 2013, and like I said in the beginning of the show, early years of my high school career is when I got more into baseball. So once I graduated in 2013, September 2013, so I would say in 2014, after the FIFA World Cup that happened in Brazil, it's when I started getting a lot more into baseball. So I didn't get to see him play. But yeah. Sorry,
it was fun to watch.
You need that. I'm just trying to connect all the dots here, I'm trying to wake up. Remember, I can't speak today.
Yeah, I know. You had a pretty drive last night.
Pretty drive. It was so dark. I saw the beautiful dark shadows of the mountains. It was a pretty drive.
I believe it, Nick.
So most of these guys are just really random Tigers players that I just loved watching. My relief pitcher, he wasn't very good at all for us, but specifically in the playoffs, he kind of held down for us, and I appreciated that for him. Mr. Phil Koch.
Oh yeah.
Our bullpen was always our Achilles heel with those teams, and it was really, really unfortunate. I mean, it's all summed up in the David Ortiz clip, but we won't talk about that too much. But as for Phil Koch, he wasn't a great regular season pitcher, but when it came down to the playoffs, he kind of just always buckled down. And this is also based on a fan favorite. He was always one of the relief pitchers out of the bullpen, and he just had a cool name too, Phil Koch, and he was just a cool standard lefty, and he was just cool. I liked him.
I mean, the point of the show is just players that the fans loved, so it's doesn't even have to be how good they were. There are players that I left out that were great, but fans hated once they were gone.
Oh, of course.
There's Jose Reyes would have been on my list, but when he left, fans didn't like him. They booed him when he came back. Same with Carlos Beltran, which is why he's also not on here for me. It's all about how the fans felt. And I love Jose Reyes, but a majority of fans weren't happy when he was gone because he chose to sign somewhere else. So after he could have signed with the Mets again after he was traded, but chose not to. So it's okay. That's just how it has to go. But with a closing pitcher to wrap up the pitchers, I went with Armando Benitez. Not tons of closers on here that left the Mets that were really loved, but Benitez was probably the best closer in Mets history. Such a great closer. K-Rod would have been another one here. Francisco Rodriguez was a really great closer for the Mets, but fans didn't really love him once he left, primarily because of all the allegations that were going around once he did leave the team. So, I mean, Benitez was always loved. He was always a really big fan favorite when he was pitching with the Mets, and especially after he left.
My closing pitcher is a Canadian superstar that I think has been the best Canadian play baseball for that country and has the record of 84 consecutive saves in Eric Gagne. You know, he played with the Dodgers. Was it from, I'm trying to remember, 1999 to 2006. So quick little fact. I'm sorry about this. My cousin, shout out to my cousin. He just became a dad a couple days ago. So shout out to him because he loved Eric Gagne. So I remember I was so young. I don't remember who they were playing, but I went to go see a Dodger game. I think it was 04. I think it was. I was young. And I got to see Eric Gagne close a game right in front of me. And that stuff was electric, bro. Like when they saw Eric Gagne come out of the bullpen, we're like, game's over. We're done. We got this game. We're winning. You know, it was like how Kenley was at one point. Not anymore. At one point, not anymore. We're worried about him throwing the game and making a walk-off hit for the Tampa Bay Rays. Oh my gosh, I hate that moment so much. But it was amazing, you know, and fans still love him to this day. Sometimes people say, like, we wish we had Eric Gagne over Kenley Jansen sometimes, you know, because this stuff was just electric. When I saw it in front of me, I was like, man, this guy's throwing heat before I even knew what heat was in baseball, you know? So Eric Gagne is my closer that left the Dodgers. He went to 3 different teams after he left the Dodgers, and we miss him. We loved him too.
Well, I mean, it's sad to see Eric Gagne not on the Dodgers finish his career. But Nick, let's hear what you got.
Yeah, so this guy has only played one other team besides, one other team after the Tigers, and it's actually the Mets. For my closing pitcher, I gotta go with Jose Valverde, aka Papa Grande. He was probably one of my more favorite players on this list. He was just so fun to watch. Like I remember just me and my dad just always like got excited when he would come up to pitch because first of all his pitching stance was unique to say the least. We'll keep it that. But he was just always he showed a lot of emotion, just showed a lot of poise. He had two really good seasons with us. He had a 49 save season with us. He had also had a 2 All-Star seasons with us, and Tigers fans miss him because he was one of our more consistent closers, and we all know what happened when Joaquin Benoit took over. So just leave it at that.
It's all right. That happens. It's part of life. So then we go over to the catcher, and I mean that closing pitcher position is really, really filled right there. I mean, pretty impressive. So catcher, this is the one that I struggled with. I had 2 for, but I ended up going to settle with one going to DH, sticking with the other one at catcher, and the one that was loved a little bit more by Mets fans because he's still, I personally believe, loved more today. That's Mike Piazza. Once he left the Mets, such a sad feeling after his dominance with the Mets for many, many years. Leaving was very hard, but you know what? I mean, he's going to live in Mets fans' hearts forever as many Mets fans' favorite baseball player of all time. So Mike Piazza, I know he played for you, Marco, too, but he did a little better with the Mets, but that's okay.
You don't say. So this is where I have 2. I don't think one counts that much, but I'm still going to say it. So the first one that I have for the catchers is AJ Ellis. He was the perfect pitcher for Clayton Kershaw. Now it's Austin Barnes, but AJ Ellis was such a dominant catcher behind the plate, great defensive catcher. He knew how to square a pitch whenever you needed it. Just like how we talked about Yasmani, he was a great catcher in that kind of sense too. But AJ Ellis was the first one. Like he really knew how to work with Clayton Kershaw. When him and Clayton were in the same field, it was just electrical every single time. So AJ Ellis is the first one. So this one is his last appearance was with the Dodgers, but I kind of want to go to when he left the Dodgers. So I'm going to go with Russell Martin. When he went to the Yankees, when he went to the Pirates, when he went to the Blue Jays. When he left to go to the Yankees, I was heartbroken, bro. I was so sad. But it was because that was like the prime of his career. When he left to the Yankees, also when it was with the Blue Jays and Pirates, he didn't do very, very good. But we still missed him. We're like, because we didn't have AJ Ellis anymore, nor Russell Martin. We didn't know who our catcher was. So we were just missing and desperately needed a catcher. And it made us think, like, why do we trade away Russell Martin? So that was the other one. Like I said, his last appearance was with the Dodgers, but I kind of want to try to fit him in there. So AJ Ellis and Russell Martin.
That's fair.
Yeah. So this guy, he started his career with the Tigers, left in 2015, came back 2017, and we haven't seen him since. I really do miss Alex Avila. And it's quite fitting that his dad would trade him away, as he is now our GM, Al Avila. Alex Avila, I have a few funny stories about him. One is that the only Tigers game I ever went to, he hit the walk-off double, so that was pretty cool to watch. And he was just always a consistent catcher. He actually made an All-Star team here in 2011, which I totally forgot about, which is nice to see. But more of like I feel like I kind of relate to him in the AJ Ellis type of way. He kind of just was consistently good. He caught some no-hitters. He was just solid behind the plate, and that's what you needed on teams like that. And it was cool because he kind of learned from Victor Martinez too. Victor Martinez, as he used to play catcher, and then transitioned to DH. I feel like Avila really it helped that Avila was also like starting to become a good catcher at that point too. So yeah, I miss this team.
Yeah, some good players that weren't necessarily great, but were beloved by the franchise, and that's the whole point of this show. So we slide over to first baseman. I think as I mentioned in the intro, the emulation of this show itself. At first base, I have Wilmer Flores, who was by far the most beloved Met, I think, of all time that was traded away, almost. So I think the reason why Flores wasn't necessarily the most sad one on this list is because we already kind of went through the emotions of him getting traded the first time, loved him, and then we kind of knew he was going to be leaving because Brody Van Wagenen just didn't re-sign him. Wouldn't be surprised if when he hits free agency again, if the Mets pick him up because, well, the Mets, I'm sure Sandy Alderson would love to have that bat back on the bench because the Mets have been stressing depth repeatedly recently, but Wilmer Flores, when he came and played against the Mets in 2019 for his first time back, he hit a home run off of Jacob deGrom in his first at-bat back, and the fans were standing when he hit home plate, which is exactly what I wanted. It was poetic. It was so poetic. That's what I wanted to have happen. I said, when this guy comes back, I want him to hit a homer, and I want the fans to cheer for him when he does. It exactly happened. Gives me goosebumps. I'll never forget Wilmer Flores, and hopefully he'll get to come back and be a Met one day.
That would be nice for you. So, my first baseman is someone that actually played for the Mets back in 2016. By any chance?
I was actually thinking of him the other day. I was like, 2016, why on earth did anyone think that Adrian Gonzalez was a smart player to put at first base?
Actually, I'm not. I'm talking about James. I'm talking about James Loney. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, well, Adrian Gonzalez is also a pretty good one. I was thinking about both of them, but
like Adrian Gonzalez was good, but I was more attached to James Loney. Because he was just a humble, chill guy. He was a gentleman. He was a fantastic player. He wasn't the best bat. He wasn't a power guy, but he played with the Rays. He played with Boston.
I was gonna say I remember him with the Rays. I didn't remember him on the Dodgers, which is why I thought of Adrian Gonzalez right away. So I'm surprised, but I like it. But keep going.
He played first with the Dodgers, and then Adrian Gonzalez came into the picture. That's when he left, and that's when he went to Boston. Then he went to Tampa Bay, and then he went to the Mets, and that was his last MLB appearance in 2016 for the New York Mets. So yeah, James Loney, I always liked the guy. You know, I remember playing the early, I don't say early MLB The Show, but like when I started playing MLB The Show, he was my favorite batter, even though he really couldn't give me a home run to save my life. But I would say James Loney is my the first baseman that I believe that Dodger fans still miss to this day.
Hey, I love James Loney. He was a great guy.
All right, so next guy, you know, same team, same era.
Writing it already.
Yeah. I was so excited when we signed Prince Fielder. It brought a lot of joy in my heart. And I mean, he only played with us for 2 years, but like it felt like he played for us for like a good 5 or 6 years. Like he's definitely one of the more beloved Detroit. Yeah, I know, right? Only 2 years.
I thought it was so much more than that. It's crazy.
Him and Miggy formed like a pretty fun duo. Like those two mess with the fans more than anyone I've ever seen, and they're just fun, good guys to be around. Obviously, they're great players too. Like Prince was a stud in Milwaukee. Had a good one season with us, and obviously it goes all the way back to like his dad, Cecil Fielder, who also played for the Tigers. And it was just cool to see him and Prince play on the same team. And if it weren't for the injuries, if it weren't for that stupid neck injury, who knows what would have happened. I mean, obviously he left for the Rangers after that, but it was just sad to see his career cut short. And him and his dad actually finished with the same number of home runs.
Yeah, iconic. I'll never forget that. But man, Prince Fielder, what a legend. I'm gonna miss him. Second baseman, we've got for the Mets. I have Edgardo Alfonso. The Mets don't have tons of second basemen here that I would have really put in a category of like necessarily loved once they left. But I mean, he was really good. He was one of the Mets fans' favorite players. And, you know, I could have put Daniel Murphy here, but once Daniel Murphy left, he was also very hated by Mets fans because he chose to leave. So, I mean, right now, Daniel Murphy is probably liked by Mets fans, and once he left immediately, he wasn't very loved. So Edgardo Alfonso was just one of Mets fans' favorite basemen of all time, better Mets players of all time. And, you know, it was sad to see him leave, but obviously not as heartfelt as some of the other players on this list.
My player that I have for second base, actually I have two, but I'm not going to count the other one because he retired a Dodger. So it was Chase Utley. But the reason why I put him in there at the same time is because, like, when he retired, they want him so bad to be manager over Dave Roberts. I know you hate him, Michael. I know you do. I know you hate Chase Utley with a passion. I know that for sure.
I can't. I'll be like Ryan on the show, yelling about it for like an hour. Keep going.
Just so people know, why do you hate Chase Utley? Why do you hate him?
Oh,
did he not?
You know, hate's a strong word. Hate's a strong word, but
you know that's the word he's talking about.
He never admitted that he ran into Ruben Tejada's leg and broke it on purpose. Never apologized for it. That is something that, as a human being, if you break someone's leg, you apologize. It is just rude. It is just it's not kind. If you break someone's leg, you apologize for it. I could go on for hours. I'm not gonna. I can't do that though.
So he broke his leg?
Yeah, he single-handedly broke Ruben Tejada's leg and never apologized for it.
I think he was safe though.
I do too, but that's a difference. That's a different story.
He was safe.
He was safe because he knocked the ball out of his leg. He smacked his leg out of the air with his. He freaking slammed into him like a quarterback.
Imagine he was out and he still broke his leg.
God, that would have been crazy. You know, that was before like we have all these rules now about collisions, all that kind of stuff, especially at home.
Or because of him breaking Ruben Tejada's leg.
Also, what happened with Buster Posey? You got to remember that too.
Yes, that started it.
That started it because that was really, really bad. But my other Dodger that was a second baseman that I loved him a whole lot, and when he came back to Dodger Stadium, people loved him. He's currently a Mariners second baseman, plays outfield too for them. But that is D. Gordon when he left to go to the Marlins. That guy, the thing I loved about him, he was just so fast. He was little and fast at the same time, bro. I thought it was so cool to just watch him play, you know? I, he was just an interesting player, you know, and when he came back, he got a standing ovation from the Dodger fans. Even though he didn't do much for the team, but he wanted to be a Dodger and stay there for some time. But we got to remember sometimes baseball is a business. So he was part of the business, and he had to leave to go to Miami. So D. Gordon is my second baseman.
And just to respond to Brent's comment, he said, "You like Springer and he cheated. There's a difference between cheating and breaking another human being's leg." I'm just setting that standard. Nick, you're next.
You know, drill, same, just like the same team, probably. No, not probably. It is.
Yeah.
So this guy started his career out with the Rangers, and I actually always liked him on the Rangers too. And then when we got him, I was just like, this is so perfect. Like, our team's doing so good. Mr. Ian Kinsler. And the Kinsler actually wasn't bad for us at all. He had an all-star season with us, and I feel like that's like one position we were never just really good at. It was like second base, and like he was such a like little above average second baseman at that time, which I was so hyped about. Now I think now at this point he should just retire. He's just causing the Padres fans pain. But when he was with the Tigers, he was just a really good player. He was just solid. He's also part of that Prince Fielder trade. So I think that might be part of it too. But I'll always have respect for Ian Kinsler.
Yo,
Iconic.
wait, Michael, I don't know why. I'm sorry. This position has been over already. I just remember the starting pitcher, and it makes me so sad I forgot about him. Pedro Martinez was a Dodger. Oh my god!
Oh, you're just now reading the comments?
No, wait. Is it in the comment section? Is it?
Brent literally wrote Pedro Martinez.
Oh shoot, Brent! I'm so sorry, bro. I forgot about Pedro Martinez. I'm so sorry. It's because I just think of Pedro. I think of Boston. That's automatically, you know. So I forgot he started his career with the Dodgers and then he left. I would.
Do you want me to swap him out for Jose De Leon?
Yes, do that, please. Do that. That's way bigger than Jose De Leon. But yeah, continue. I just want to correct myself there.
I'm glad you remembered it. So it's funny because I actually just corrected my shortstop. So at shortstop, I initially, after the other day, you know, I made this on Thursday when I was off, and I put Ahmed Rosario at shortstop because don't get me wrong, Mets fans are going to love Ahmed Rosario for years. When he comes back, he's going to get a big standing ovation. Never did anything wrong with the Mets. He was always very loved. But, I mean, come on. Jose Reyes. When that guy got traded, Mets fans were crying. I mean, everybody loved Jose Reyes, one of the most electric players for Mets. I mean, this guy would hit a down the baseline. You knew he'd be standing on third base. I mean, it was the amount of triples that he would get in the course of a season was unbelievable. Always loved Jose Reyes. Will always love Jose Reyes. Have his jersey. But the only thing is, he finished his career as a Met. So technically, I can't have him on here. I need to talk about him, but I can't have him on the list. So go with Ahmed Rosario. It's unfortunate, but I have to give Ahmed Rosario that spot because he's not finishing his career with the Mets as of right now. You never know what happens in 10 years, but I can't put Jose Reyes here. I have to give him the credit, though.
So
yes, I know. Sorry, Brent commented David Cohn. I know David Cohn was my number 4. Brent, I'm aware. If we had 5, he would be number 4. That was another hard one. But go ahead, Marco.
So the other one that I had, I mean, we're in shortstops right now. So the shortstop I had for the Dodgers that left, I had to go with who was a former Marlins and former Boston Red Sox, Mr. Hanley Ramirez. He started off with Boston, then he went to Miami, then he went to the Dodgers and went back to Boston and finished his career in the Indians. So Hanley Ramirez, for me, he was the best shortstop in the game when he was playing for Boston and Miami. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I said that wrong. When he played in Miami, for me, he was the best shortstop in the game. When he came over to the Dodgers, I feel he was pretty good. he gained some weight, so that really affected him, which put him over at first base / DH spot. So I liked him. You know, he was my favorite player for a little short period of time, but when he left to go to Boston and see what he did over there at first base and DH, I think it made us think like we wish he was still with the Dodgers. But the fact that the NL didn't have a DH, we couldn't really have any space for him. With the star that we have now at Corey Seager, we didn't have room for Hanley Ramirez anymore.
It's true.
All right. Same team drill. Seems like almost every player on this team was an all-star. It's so much pain, but I'm really happy to see this man playing well for Baltimore right now and have a .373 batting average. Mr. Jose Iglesias. I'll put it this way. Watching him play shortstop was just so satisfying. Like, he was an absolute defensive wizard when it came. Like, he just made everything look so smooth and simple. And even at the plate, he didn't hit 30 home runs. He just got the job done. He was a great contact guy. He was a little faster than people thought he was. He was just I feel like an above average defender. Way above average defender. He's a great hitter. Great, just a solid all around baseball player in my opinion. And Tigers fans, I know we definitely miss him. He was only there for 4 years, but those 4 years were probably some of the best shortstop years I've witnessed as a Tigers fan so far. So yeah, we just wish him all the best in Baltimore, I guess.
I'm surprised you didn't go with Johnny Peralta. He was one of my favorite players on the Tigers.
PEDs didn't really help his case there.
That's true.
He's my uncle, bro.
Is he really? No,
every Peralta I say is my uncle, bro.
I was like, wait a minute. Wait a
minute. I need you to stop the show right now. That's your uncle.
Yeah, I was like, wait. I was like, wait a minute. Why has he not been a guest yet? Okay, we'll move forward to third base. In third base here, this is a tough one because there haven't been many Mets third basemen that left that were really loved, but this one was a pretty good one. And Howard Johnson, good old Hojo, everyone loved him when he played for the Mets. It was hard when he left, but I mean, like I said, not tons of Mets third basemen that were super loved once they left because, I mean, third base has been a position that the players really have just played their whole career. You could probably throw Justin Turner in that category, but he wasn't really loved because he wasn't great when he left the Mets, but Mets just wish we had him. So I put Howard Johnson a little bit over him.
Okay, so for third base, I have someone who I think was just a phenomenal person, great personality, kind of like James Loney at the same time, you know, and that player is Juan Uribe. He won 2 World Series with the White Sox and the San Francisco Giants. Then he went in 2011 to 2015. He played with the Dodgers. A big guy over at third before Justin Turner came over and took over the position. But I remember him playing with him on MLB The Show. I always thought I was going to get power from him, but he was 1 home run away from hitting 200 home runs. So I don't know. But Juan Uribe, he was just a fun guy to watch, you know? I remember there was always a clip that I see that I forgot who's going to try to pick him off with the hidden ball trick at second base. I forgot who it was.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And it was when he was with the Indians, and he just got so scared. I thought it was one of the hilarious things, you know. But because he always had fun when he was inside, kind of like Adrian Beltre when he's playing, he always has fun. You know, that's what Juan Uribe reminds me of. Just have fun playing baseball, and Dodger fans loved him when he was there.
True that. Played for the Mets in 2015. Could have won a ring there too, but the Royals happened. It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, same team. So this guy started his career out as a Tiger in back in 2002, and then he played for the good Tiger teams in 2012, 2013. Mr. Omar Infante, probably one of the more random guys you'll hear me say, but I don't know. Going back to these Tiger teams, every player was just so important, and they all had their different roles. And Omar's role was just set in stone. You're really just here to play some solid defense, get on once in a while. Because if we could just get people on for our 2 through 5 hitters, then we were in pretty good shape. This guy was just always an end of the lineup bat. He kind of was just there just to fill a role. And then towards the end of his career, he was more of a mentor, which I really appreciated for him now. But yeah, he's just a solid player. I always just mess with his energy. He was just a good player, in my opinion.
Man, Omar Infante. That's a name I haven't seen in a while, man. Ooh, I loved Omar Infante though. I mean, he was a good guy. He played for the Mets. He was very good. I mean, you can't really go wrong there. So, Omar, pretty legendary player. You can never go wrong, even though he didn't hit very well. That's okay. So we go to left field, and out in left field, I have Carlos Beltran. Always tough after he got traded. He was very beloved by the Mets. And it's tough because, I mean, he was traded for Wheeler, and it's hard to look back on now, especially after the cheating scandal. I mean, I can't really think about how Mets fans feel of him now as opposed to how they did 10 years ago, because 10 years ago, Mets fans loved Beltran. They were so sad when he left. I remember hearing it on the news when he did get traded. It was so sad, especially because he got traded to the Giants at the time when he was just so good. Crazy that we're going to have a show eventually of players that teams that should have done better. And that early 2010s Mets team is a team that really should have done better with Beltran, Wright, and Reyes. Whew. Don't know how they didn't, but it's okay. Different story for a different day. But Carlos Beltran's my left field.
Well, I didn't really go with like left field, center field, and right field.
Fine.
I just went with overall. So I have, now I think about it, I have four. Is it four? Yes, 4 Dodgers who I think, well, I don't think, I know they were loved after they left. So the first one that I'm going to share is Mr. Darryl Strawberry. He started with the Mets in 83 to 90, and then he went from 91 to 93 with the Dodgers. Then he went to the Giants and finished his career with the Yankees. So Darryl Strawberry, for me, was a phenomenal player. I wish he would have played more years with the Dodgers and played with them, but at the end of the day, that's what happens. But besides him, like, trying to focus on left field, but the fact that this player played all 3 positions, I'll just get his name out of the way already, is that he didn't get traded away. He's basically just got released, and his name is Andrew Tolles. Unfortunately, what he's going through some mental health issues right now. He was really good for us until he had that knee injury, and he just wasn't the same anymore. I remember just watching him play. He was always electric. He was very fast. He was a hard worker, but just unfortunately mental illness got the best out of him. So I go with Andrew Tolles as the left fielder that I miss, and I really hope he's better. I don't know what's happening with him right now. Last time I heard is that he was living behind the trash can at an airport or something like that. So I just hope that he's doing better.
Man, this show is really tugging at our heartstrings here. Goodness gracious. Whew. This has been such an emotional show. We do have to cut it off here for Blaze listeners. If you're listening to us on Blaze, make sure you go check us out on YouTube to hear the rest of the show. I don't know if we're on Blaze tomorrow. I didn't even put a show in last week because no one's done it for the last month. I've just been putting my show in there for Monday. I don't know if they've been putting it in or not, but I don't know if we're back to programming tomorrow, but we got to cut it off anyway, just in case we are going to show. So thank you for listening. If you want to hear the rest of our players, make sure you go listen to us on YouTube. You can check us out, obviously, at Running the Bases podcast on YouTube. If not, we will see you guys all next week. If you also want to see a little bit more Running the Bases content that you won't see here on Blaze, make sure to come check us out on Wednesday so you can see that show, because none of our Wednesday shows will be broadcasted on Blaze. You've got to check those out only on YouTube. So we hope to see some of you there if you are here listening on Blaze. We'll see you guys all next time. If you're listening to us here still on YouTube, though, we're live. We're still popping. We're still in left field, and Nick has to give us our left fielder. We've still got the rest of left field and then 3 more positions. So, Nick, let's hear what you got.
Oh, yeah, so kind of like Marco, this guy permanently played center field, but I just put him in left field. I went with the speedy Austin Jackson. And man, do I miss this guy? It was, I don't know. As a kid, it was always just fun watching these guys steal bases, and he was definitely our best base stealer. Even though Jim Leyland wasn't a huge fan of it, Austin Jackson didn't really care. I still won't ever forget his inside the park home run against the Rangers. That was so awesome to watch. And it's cool because you could really see Austin Jackson's development with the Tigers. Like obviously, like he was like a big strikeout guy when he got in the league, and he cut those numbers down. Actually turned into some pretty solid seasons for the Tigers, but I definitely do miss this guy. He was our everyday center fielder. He was just awesome, great energy, and it was really cool seeing him get better as a hitter.
Man, so many players on here. It's funny how memories get dug out by some of these players that randomly played for our teams. Like Austin Jackson was a Met in 2018. He played in like 10 games, barely hit anything. I think he hit a home run. But I mean, it's just funny. Some of these players just kind of come and go on your team every once in a while. And, you kind of just forget about it. So also just got an update. Thank you, Steve Cohen. I love you for the beautiful update, because tomorrow's first day of school, Monday, 11 o'clock in the morning, is the Francisco Lindor press conference. I'll be waking up for that because I will not miss it. Make sure you're there. It's going to
Wait, so you don't have class before 11 a.m. tomorrow?
It's Eastern time, partner, so it'll be 9 a.m. our time. And no, I actually don't. I have a class at noon. Oh, man, they're doing it different. So the Carlos Carrasco press conference is on Tuesday. That's disappointing. I wanted to see them both in the same one. It's okay. I'll still be able to watch both. That's just fine. I'll be up at 9 o'clock the next 2 days. It's dandy. It's all right. I'll live. It's very much worth it. Let's go to center field, shall we? We'll start off with center field with the guy that's the thumbnail of today's video, Curtis Granderson. Woo! I love Curtis Granderson. I know you do too, Nick. You might have a position too. Marco, didn't he played for the Dodgers too? You might have him in center field as well. Very possible. That's actually traded him to the Dodgers, so funny how that happens. But I've got Curtis Granderson's shirt in my closet. Always will love Curtis Granderson. One of the biggest reasons why the Mets made it to the World Series. He signed him to a pretty long contract. Sad to see that he never really got to reach his potential with the Mets. I mean, honestly, just based on character alone, this guy could be in Hall of Fame conversations, maybe, but probably not. But you never know. I mean, everyone's going to love Curtis Granderson, one of the most beloved players in the game, always smiling. The Mets replaced that now with Francisco Lindor, but, I mean, you can never go wrong with Curtis Granderson.
Yeah, I remember that guy, Curtis Granderson. I was afraid of that guy at one point, but he came to the Dodgers, but he didn't do nothing, so I can't really say anything about him. But my center fielder that I have for the Dodgers is he had a great 2011. He was neck and neck with Ryan Braun for the NL MVP. That's Mr. Matt Kemp himself. Almost won a Triple Crown. He left the Dodgers, and he did come back, though. He didn't win a World Series, but he came back for some time, but then he left, and he's now with the Rockies.
Came to the Mets.
So and he's also been with a couple of division rivals with the Giants and with now the Rockies and the Padres. Dude, he's been in four different NL West division teams. And
the D-backs now.
Imagine them going with the D-backs. That would be crazy. But I don't think, like, when people say of Matt Kemp, I don't think people hate him. I've always had good thoughts about Matt Kemp, besides his scandals of living the Hollywood life with Mrs. Rihanna. What's going on with him and her. I remember that chaos. It was ridiculous. But yeah, Matt Kemp is the center fielder that I think Dodger fans wish he could stay a little bit longer. But I think because of his outside life, it just wasn't given the same production. But people still like him, because of what he did in 2011 for the Dodgers.
True.
Yeah, me and Michael actually had the same player for this one. Gotta go with Curtis Granderson out here in center field. Started his career with the Tigers.
Oh, wait, I'm gonna say Curtis Granderson too, so we could do. I'm just kidding.
It's okay.
So like back in 2004, he started his career with us, and then he was actually an all-star at this in like 2009. But he's part of the Max Scherzer trade, which I don't know how I feel about it now. Because he was just such a good character. Like we said earlier, like Michael said, he was just always smiling. I didn't start watching Tigers baseball like when he was on the team, but like I wish I did, because he'd have been a treat to watch if I was rooting for him on the same team because like he was killing us when he was on the Yankees. I'll tell you that for sure. He had like a 41 homer season with the Yankees one year. He was one of the great power hitters they had on that team. But yeah, we'll always miss Seagrand as me and Michael do.
Yeah, Curtis. Oh man. Oh, it's got me thinking of Curtis Anderson. Let me go to right field, the last actual fielding position of the list today. And for me, Brent commented it before, but I can't not have Darryl Strawberry on this list. One of the most iconic Mets players of all time. Went to the Dodgers, as you said, Marco, then went to the Yankees. Obviously, another one of those Mets players that went to the Yankees. It seems like in the late 80s, early 90s, you saw so many Mets players just go to the Yankees. You had Doc Gooden, David Cohn, Darryl Strawberry, some of the best. So, it's only fair that Darryl Strawberry's on this list, but man, power that guy brought to the plate. One of the most iconic right fielders to ever play the game in general, especially with that name. I mean, come on. When you have a name like Strawberry, you're automatically a legend. So I'll always love that guy.
Okay, here we go. So let's see if Brent remembers this guy. Because
of course
I haven't told you guys, but obviously he's gonna remember him. Maybe not a Dodger. I don't know. I'm not testing Dodger knowledge at all. I'm not. But this was my first ever favorite Dodger player of all time. When I first got into baseball, like, I love this guy. I want to be like him when I grow up. He's a right fielder. He played for the Cardinals. He played for the Braves for one season. He played for the Red Sox until 2011. He had two seasons with the Dodgers. His name is J.D. Drew. J.D. Drew was my favorite player growing up. I remember when he was there in 05 and 06, I would say, I'm J.D. Drew. I couldn't hit a ball, but J.D. Drew was my favorite player. I was really sad when he left. When I got a knowledge of how baseball works, and when I saw that J.D. Drew was no longer with the Dodgers, I got a little bit sad. I got pretty sad about that, because I was like, he's with Boston now. That sucks, So I got to go with J.D. Drew in right field for the Dodgers.
Man, J.D. Drew, the guy who got an MVP, a Hall of Fame vote. Crazy.
Kind of messed up. This guy finished his career with the Tigers, but it hasn't happened. It's 2011, so it's okay. We'll let it slide. So Maglio Ordonez for me in right field probably has one of the most iconic plays as a Tiger in that 2006 season against the Oakland Athletics, the Sinus World Series. That watching that clip, I wish I was older, just so I could experience that as a Tigers fan. But that looked awesome watching that live. I probably would have. If I was watching that live, I don't know what I would have done, but it would have been insane. The Maglio is Tigers fans. Obviously, we still miss him to this day. It's been since 2011. We haven't really had a consistent right fielder like that. I guess no. Jenny Martinez would really count there, or there's players, but Maglio Ordonez just had a different. He was just different. There's no other way to put it. He was really just a fan favorite in Detroit. Played 8 years for the White Sox, 7 years for us. But he finished his career with the Tigers, so White Sox fans, yeah.
Sorry.
I words to them. But Maglio Ordonez is a right fielder.
I mean, Delman Young is also a pretty good one too that played right field that stands out with his weird batting stance.
Yeah, but also the PEDs too for him. So
it's all about the fan perspective. And oh man, I lost what I was gonna say. I had something I was gonna. Man, I completely forgot. I was thinking about Maglio Ordonez. I don't know. It'll come to me eventually, but that's fine. We go to DH, and this is the last one. This is kind of where I just threw someone in there because as a Mets fan, we don't have DHs. So I mean, I made it work, and I made it work with Gary Carter. Gary Carter, who would have been my second catcher. I mean, so emotional when he got traded away. One of Mets fans' favorite players ever. Everyone loves the kid. It's sad that he's not around anymore because he was such an impressive person. He was just a great guy. Everyone loved him when he passed away. It was so sad, but Gary Carter's got to be my DH.
Well, because it's NL, I don't have a DH. I never had a DH, but I'm gonna use it as a fill-in position for another outfielder that I really enjoyed watching play. Kind of like JD Drew when he left, because I thought they were two really great, great, great outfielders. They shared 1 year together because 2006, I don't think he played. So that other player is Jason Worth. You remember him?
Oh, I remember Jason Worth.
Yeah, Jason. Yeah, you remember him. So Jason Worth, he played for the Dodgers in 04 and 05, and then he went to he went to Philadelphia. Then after that, he went to the Nationals. Yeah, that's how he finished his career in 2017 with the Nationals. So Jason Worth is the other outfielder that I missed with the Dodgers. He only played 2 seasons with them.
So now, Nick, before you go, I remembered what I was going to say, and it's relevant to you because a lot of people tend to forget. Yes, the Tigers had that really crazy loss in 2006, but if you think about it, Nick, you and I could have played in that 2006 World Series together, buddy, because I was in the NLCS and Carlos Beltran took strike 3 right down the middle. It could have been. I mean, a lot of fans said that. A lot of Mets fans and Mets players at the time believed that if the Mets went to the World Series in 06, they would have beaten either the Tigers or the Red Sox. Oh, we got a guest. But we're really fortunate that he just came in fully clothed because he had no clue that we were even in the air. We're really fortunate. But
who is this?
Those
Nick's
are my roommates.
One of his roommates came in. You never know. We're very fortunate that he came in completely prepared to be on live television. But 2006, Nick, you and I, we could have been battling it out, but unfortunately, we both had heartbreaking losses. You with the David Ortiz home run, me with a curveball right down the middle, and just,
2006 wasn't David Ortiz, but
okay.
We actually went to the World Series in 2000. We lost to the Cardinals. David Ortiz had the ALCS.
Okay, so I'm thinking different, but still, Tigers were
okay. Yeah.
So the Tigers were in the World Series in 2006.
Correct. We lost to the Cardinals.
Oh, okay. It was the Mets players who said that if they played the Tigers, they would have beaten them. That's right. Okay.
You're so messed up, Michael.
I'm just saying that's what the Mets players said at the time because they said that I thought it was the Red Sox, but they said if we played the Tigers, we feel like we would have beaten them, but they never got there because the Cardinals were they got there. So it's okay. But
it's okay.
No hard feelings. So let's hear your DH, Nick.
My DH also retired as a Tiger, but I
already know who it is, I think.
Yeah, as you should. Mr. Victor Martinez, he always had my heart near and dear to me. I just love this man. Like, if I could sit down and have like a lunch with him, I totally would. Victor Martinez was always one of my favorite Tigers. Obviously, he was an all-star in 2014. Who wasn't on the Tigers at that point? Started his career as an Indian. It was relatively a catcher there, and then came to us. Kind of transitioned from catcher to DH. And I give him a lot of props. He helped mentor young Alex Avila. He helped mentor a couple other utility players that we had, and I really appreciate him for that. He was more of a lead by example type of guy. He wasn't really a big personality type of guy. He kind of was just he kept himself, did his job well, and him and Miggy were probably one of my favorite Tiger duos that plays at that those years, I should say.
Hey, so I just thought about that. You know how Nick just said he'll take Victor Martinez or go to lunch with him. Who is one Mets player that you would go to lunch with, that you would love to have lunch with, Michael?
David Wright.
David Wright?
Definitely. I would choose Miggy or Rich Martinez or JB.
Ooh.
Who would you choose?
I have 3.
Yeah, I had 3.
I had 3. I'd take Clayton Kershaw.
Of course.
Corey.
Okay.
And Vince Scully. That would be my number 1.
That's awesome.
Vince Scully would be my number 1.
I would look at trying to see how Jim Leland would be at a lunch, but
he would probably start swearing at people.
It scares me. So maybe we'll not take Jim Leland.
Hey, this is theoretical lunch. We're not.
This is fun though.
This is a good. It's okay. This is a good show. I enjoyed it. It was fun. This was actually a long time ago. Not a long time ago. By a long time, I mean like in June. I was thinking is the off season. And this is the first thing that came to my mind was the show of players that we loved that left our team, because I was thinking of, Zach Wheeler when he started dominating the Mets again. I was like, oh, man. I was like, of course, Zach Wheeler. But it made me think. I was like, oh, we should do a show of that. So, hey, we got a pretty good slew of players. We'll obviously have to see what Ryan got. From playing as the Royals with their Legends team on MLB The Show, there's not many players that have played for the Royals that are seen as iconic. So we might not know some of them, but
watch out what you're saying there, bro. Ryan's gonna come at you.
It's true. We may not know some of the players that Ryan picks because it's just the Royals don't have it as many noteworthy players, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. He's in a plane right now. He can't hurt me at the moment. He can yell at me when he lands and watches the show, but it's okay. We still love you, Ryan. We wish you're here with us. Hopefully you'll be here on Wednesday with us. It's our first week of school. We start tomorrow, so wish us all luck if you're watching. We hopefully will have a good week. I don't think this week will have any problems with having a show on Wednesday. It might be in upcoming weeks when we start getting some work building up. But if we are going to do a show this Wednesday, which I think we will, it'll be at 4:00 Arizona time. So make sure you're there. I want to see everyone there for our 64-player hitter tournament. It's going to be crazy. I'm going to make the bracket. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I don't know what Brent's saying in the comments. He keeps spamming Bo. I don't know what that means. Maybe Bo Jackson, probably. If I had to guess, for the Royals. Yes, I know, Brent. Bo Jackson is one of the best Royals of all time. We all know that. But thank you for coming on out. This is a fun show today. Wish Ryan was here. Would have made it fun. A lot of fun at the beginning. I mean, it was a very different way to open up the show. But hey, we had the time, and ended up cutting out at the end of the show. Never thought that we would actually take a full hour on it, but it's okay. We made it work. We enjoyed it. Thank you for coming on out for yet another Sunday. Season 3, Episode 8 was a lot of fun. Looking forward to many more. Going to be moving to 2 shows a week now. Much more content coming out from this channel. Make sure you're subscribed and are ready to go. Hit that notification bell, because if you do, you'll be notified every time we go live. You don't want to miss any of our great shows coming up. So make sure you're here. We'll see you next time. Marco, yes, I see you have something to say.
Before we head out, if Brett is still there, brother, my condolences for Tommy Lasorda. That's what happens, Brother,
yes, that's true.
Dodger brothers, Tommy Lasorda. I'm with you, man. Tough loss, but I said on my Twitter a couple days ago, well, when he passed away, that I'm just happy I saw him win a World Series. I'm happy that he saw the team win another World Series before he passed away, so I'm happy about that.
Absolutely, and that's also funny, Nick, because you had him this semester, but Marco, I'm sure Joe Camparelli is very happy right now because he hates Tommy Lasorda. I wanted to send him an email and say, hey, I'm sure you're smiling today, but I didn't want to do that because you never know. You never know with him. He could, he's Joe. He's always in a different mood, but it's okay.
They were both, dude. They were Italians, bro. They hate each other.
That's true. Good old Italians. But rest in peace, Tommy Lasorda. We can dedicate this show to him and all of the us between, all of the things he did. And the thing that always jumps into my head is Pedro Martinez when he throws him on the ground, because I don't really have any memories of him as a Dodger. But hey, the man will live in infamy as one of the best to be in the game. He's truly an icon, Hall of Famer. One of many that we've lost in the last 375 days now. So thank you all for coming on out. We hope to see you for more breaking news this week. I don't know. You never know. We'll see. We don't know what anyone's thinking. We still got like 75% of the market still out there. So we'll see what happens. Thank you all for tuning on in. We'll see you all next time.